Former Lakers big man Tyson Chandler has just made a statement that is shaking up the basketball world. And it's not about stats, contracts, or trades, it's about Luka Doncic. The young superstar, now wearing purple and gold, has been compared to one of the most iconic players in NBA history. And when you hear the name, you'll understand why this is such a big deal. Leave your like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any updates. The Los Angeles Lakers made the bold move to bring Luka Doncic to LA last season. For the front office, it wasn't a difficult decision. Luka Doncic was already considered one of the most talented players in the league, someone who could completely change the direction of a franchise. And once he arrived, the hype only grew stronger. But here's the twist. Even though Doncic has already proven himself to be a dominant force on the court, he hasn't even reached his peak yet. He's never played an entire season in the best shape of his career. Think about that for a moment. If he's already putting up MVP-level numbers while still not at his absolute best, what happens when he finally gets there? We're talking about a player who could push the limits of what's possible in today's NBA. And yet, the real story here is not just about Doncic's numbers. It's about the comparison he's starting to draw. Because when players dominate the way Doncic does, the basketball world always looks for parallels, names from the past who can help define the greatness of the present. And this time, one former Laker took things to a whole new level. Tyson Chandler, an NBA champion and respected veteran, recently spoke about Doncic. And what he said might be the highest compliment a young star could receive. Chandler compared Luka Doncic to Magic Johnson. Yes, you heard that right. Magic Johnson, the ultimate floor general, the five-time NBA champion, the man who defined Showtime in Los Angeles. Chandler explained it during an interview with Eurohoops, saying, "I would always call him Luka Magic because he reminded me of a European version of Magic Johnson. Luka is his own player in this new era, but Magic was the older generation, someone who smiled on the court, yet completely destroyed you, won games, and did it all with joy. Luka gives me that same feeling. He's such a pleasure to watch." That is extraordinary praise. We're not just talking about being compared to a solid Hall of Famer. We're talking about being compared to one of the greatest to ever play the game. Magic Johnson is not only the face of the Lakers' golden era, he's one of the most influential players in NBA history. For Chandler to place Doncic in that same conversation is nothing short of stunning. But it also raises the bar. Because now, Doncic isn't just expected to be great, he's expected to live up to one of the highest standards ever set in basketball. And that's where the pressure begins. Can Luka Doncic carry the weight of that kind of comparison while playing for the most storied franchise in the NBA? The truth is, Doncic already shows flashes that justify the hype. His court vision is incredible. The way he reads defenses, creates plays for his teammates, and controls the pace of the game, it's something very few players in history have been able to do. Just like Magic, Doncic can dominate without always needing to score. But when he does decide to put points on the board, he's every bit as lethal, if not more. Last season with the Lakers, Doncic averaged 28.2 points, 8.1 rebounds, and 7.5 assists per game. His shooting numbers were impressive too. 43.8% from the field and 37.9% from three-point range. These aren't just good stats. They're elite. And remember, he's still not at his physical peak. Now, of course, there are differences. Doncic doesn't have the same defensive instincts or rebounding strength that Magic displayed throughout his career. But offensively, as a passer, he's right there. And as a scorer, he might even have the edge. Magic was never known as a dominant scorer. He was known as a leader, a playmaker, a magician with the ball. Luka Doncic, meanwhile, combines that same level of playmaking with the ability to score at will from anywhere on the court. So, what does this all mean for the Lakers moving forward? It means that the expectations are sky high. When you play in Los Angeles, wearing the same jersey as legends like Kobe Bryant, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Magic Johnson, there is no room for anything less than greatness. And now, with Tyson Chandler's comparison, the bar for Doncic has been set at almost unreachable heights. But if there's one player who can handle that pressure, it might just be Luka Doncic. Because time and time again, he's shown that the spotlight doesn't intimidate him, it fuels him. From his days in Europe, to his rise in Dallas, and now in Los Angeles, Doncic has thrived when the lights are the brightest. So, as the Lakers continue their journey with Luka Doncic as the new face of the franchise, one question remains. Can he truly live up to Magic Johnson's legacy? Only time will tell. But if what we've seen so far is only the beginning, then the Lakers may be on the verge of a new era of Showtime. The Los Angeles Lakers may be facing a massive dilemma, and it centers around Austin Reaves. Reaves has become a fan favorite in Los Angeles, the kind of player who fights for every bucket, who provides energy on the court, and who proved that he belongs in the NBA after going undrafted. But now, despite everything he's given to the team, the future between Reaves and the Lakers has suddenly become a question mark. It all started with his performance in the postseason. Against the Timberwolves, Reaves struggled to deliver. The scoring punch that carried him through the regular season wasn't there. His perimeter defense, already considered a weak point in his game, was exposed on the biggest stage. And in Los Angeles, playoff performances matter more than anything else. That playoff letdown opened the door to a wave of rumors. All off-season, reports swirled that the Lakers were at least exploring the idea of trading Austin Reaves. The thought alone shocked many fans. After all, he's been one of the bright spots for this team. But the NBA is a business, and the whispers only grew louder as insiders started weighing in. Because here's the truth, even with those playoff struggles, Austin Reaves has value. A lot of value. Around the league, teams see him as a reliable scorer, a playmaker who can step into a bigger role if given the chance. And that's exactly where the problem lies. His current contract won't last forever, and when it's time for him to negotiate his next deal, he's almost guaranteed to get a major payday, possibly one the Lakers won't be able to afford. And that's why one NBA insider has raised the alarm. Michael Pina of The Ringer believes the Lakers should seriously consider trading Austin Reaves sooner rather than later. His reasoning? Two major concerns. First, Reaves' defense. He simply doesn't have the size or quickness to consistently shut down elite perimeter players, and in the Western Conference, that weakness can't be ignored. Second, his price tag. In just a couple of years, Reaves could be too expensive for the Lakers to keep under the new salary cap rules. Those 2 points create a tough reality. The Lakers can't just think about the next game, they have to think about the next 3 to 5 years. They have to ask, does keeping Austin Reaves long-term actually fit with their vision of contending for championships? Or is it smarter to trade him now, while his value is high, before they risk losing him for nothing? And here's where it gets even trickier. The extension that Reaves signed a couple of years ago actually sets him up to earn more money by leaving Los Angeles than by staying. That means the financial incentive to walk away is already in place. The Lakers might want to keep him, but the math might push him out the door. And Rob Pelinka has to make sure the franchise doesn't get caught off guard. So, what's the plan? The most logical answer is the trade deadline. By mid-season, the Lakers will know exactly what kind of team they have. If they're sitting near the top of the West, pushing for home court advantage, maybe they hold on to Reaves and make a run. But if the chemistry isn't right, or if they believe a trade could bring back a better fit, then the front office might decide to act. And if they do trade him, timing will be everything. Waiting too long risks disaster. Once rival teams sense that Los Angeles needs to move Reaves, his trade value plummets. At that point, the Lakers would lose leverage and be forced to take back less than what he's worth. If Pelinka is going to pull the trigger, he has to strike before the rest of the league smells blood in the water. Until then, Reaves is still producing at a high level. Last season, he averaged 20.2 points, 4.5 rebounds, and 5.8 assists per game. He shot 46% from the floor and nearly 38% from beyond the arc. Those numbers are not just solid, they're the kind of numbers that make him attractive to almost every team in the league. But those numbers also make the decision even more complicated. How do you trade away someone that productive? How do you risk angering the fan base by moving on from a player who has fought his way into becoming a reliable starter? It's the kind of choice that could define the Lakers' future. So here's the bottom line. The Lakers love what Austin Reaves brings to the floor. The fans love him. But the front office knows the harsh reality. Defense matters. Salary cap flexibility matters. And losing a player for nothing could cripple their chances of building a true contender around their current roster. The clock is ticking, and the question is clear. Will the Lakers double down on Austin Reaves as a long-term piece of their puzzle, or will they make the tough call and move him while they still can? One thing is certain, this storyline is far from over. Sometimes, the NBA offseason gets a little too quiet, too calm. And when that happens, chaos has to be manufactured. That's exactly what Bleacher Report did. They dreamed up a jaw-dropping, 5-team blockbuster trade, one that would land Giannis Antetokounmpo with the Los Angeles Lakers. Yes, you heard that right. Giannis. In purple and gold. This massive hypothetical trade was imagined by Eric Pincus and involves 5 teams: the Lakers, Dallas Mavericks, Milwaukee Bucks, Toronto Raptors, and Brooklyn Nets. The return package, particularly for Milwaukee, is so enormous that it couldn't even fit neatly into a single trade graphic. To really understand it, we need to break it down team by team. If there's a team where a LeBron James trade could actually make sense, it's Dallas. The Mavericks already have a roster looking to build around young talent. Add LeBron to that mix, and suddenly Dallas has another elite playmaker to chase a championship. The only challenge? LeBron's enormous salary. But in this scenario, Pincus figures out a way to make the numbers work. The Mavericks would receive LeBron James, Bronny James, Tyler Smith, Drew Timm, and Andre Jackson Jr. To make the trade work, Dallas has to give up a lot of depth. That might be controversial, but it's not like they walk away empty-handed. Andre Jackson Jr. showed flashes as a 3-and-D wing with Milwaukee. Drew Timm provided short but promising glimpses as a contributor. And Bronny James? He's closer to being NBA-ready than many realize. The real prize for Dallas, though, is creating a short-term championship window. Imagine a core of LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Cooper Flagg, and Kyrie Irving, all in one lineup. That's bold. That's high risk. And yes, it's absolutely intriguing. Toronto's role in this trade is smaller, but it's far from insignificant. They use the opportunity to offload R.J. Barrett's contract while adding one of the league's most reliable backup centers. They'd receive Daniel Gafford plus a $13.3 million trade exception. By moving Barrett, Toronto clears cap space and resolves an awkward offensive hierarchy. That's important. With fewer ball-dominant players on the floor, Scotty Barnes and Brandon Ingram can thrive. And the trade exception? It gives them the flexibility to make another big move in the future, if the opportunity arises. Even in a smaller role, the Raptors position themselves smartly for both short-term competitiveness and long-term maneuverability. Brooklyn's involvement is straightforward. They facilitate the deal using available cap space, and in return, they pick up some young talent to develop. They'd land Dalton Knecht, Jaden Hardy, and Dwight Powell. For a team that isn't aiming to compete next season, this is a low-risk move with upside. Knecht and Hardy are both young players with potential. Brooklyn gets to evaluate them without giving up key pieces. And they only send out Drew Timm and Tyrese Martin, a reasonable exchange for a team focused on the future. For years, fans and analysts have speculated about the Bucks moving Giannis Antetokounmpo. In this blockbuster scenario, it finally happens. The Bucks would receive R.J. Barrett, P.J. Washington, Caleb Martin, Najee Marshall, a $2 million trade exception, Lakers first-round swap rights in 2026, 2028, 2030, and 2032, a 2026 second-round pick from the Lakers via Toronto, and the Lakers' 2031 first-round pick. It's a huge haul in sheer volume. Milwaukee gets veterans capable of keeping them competitive in the short term, while also gaining serious influence over the Lakers' draft for years to come. Still, for a player like Giannis, arguably one of the top 5 in the world, some might say it's not enough. Regardless, the Bucks walk away with options. They can use this collection of pieces to either stay afloat in the present or pivot into more draft capital down the road. And finally, the Lakers. The clear winners of this massive trade. They would receive Giannis Antetokounmpo, Olivier Maxence Prosper, Tyrese Martin, and 2 trade exceptions worth a combined $6 million. Yes, the Lakers give up control of their draft future. Yes, Dalton Knecht and LeBron and Bronny James are part of the cost. But the payoff? 2 of the best players in basketball history on the same team, Luka Doncic and Giannis Antetokounmpo. That instantly cements Los Angeles as championship contenders. And holding on to Austin Reeves as a third option? That's just icing on the cake. The trade exceptions also give Rob Pelinka flexibility to continue shaping the roster. But let's be honest, after a blockbuster like this, who's willing to help the Lakers even more? At the end of the day, This fantasy trade delivers exactly what Lakers fans have been dreaming of for years: a dominant superstar duo capable of bringing championship banners back to Los Angeles. Luka Doncic and Giannis Antetokounmpo, together, in purple and gold. That's the kind of chaos that changes the entire NBA landscape.